Hey, this is Stef, and welcome to the Together Moving Forward podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Stef Vachon, and I'm a human being. Again, welcome to the Together Moving Forward podcast, finally loving and respecting ourselves. This is a podcast for the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, along with our friends, allies, and all human beings. I'm so happy and excited to be with you today for our third episode. To start, I need to say that I'm not a psychologist, a specialist, or someone with a college degree. I'm just a regular guy here to share with you all and support each other. I won't tell anyone what to do or how to do things. Instead, I'll share my journey, and we all share our journeys together. We'll learn from each other how to move forward. Today, I won't talk about anything before we meet our guest because she has a lot to say. So now let's talk about our guest. When I decided to create this podcast, Laura was one of the first people who came into my mind. We met in 1994 at the New York Gay Games, where she was competing in figure skating. I remember watching her perform. Her smile was radiant, and she looked so happy, fully immersed into the present moment. I knew right then that we had to meet. We kept in touch for a few years, and just recently we reconnected. After all this time, because I knew I wanted her to be one of my first guests in the podcast. And honestly, I couldn't be happier about it. Laura is an incredible woman, deeply dedicated to our community, with a life story filled with wisdom and experience. She is truly a role model for all of us. I can't wait for you to meet her. Let's go. Hello, everyone. So I'm here with Laura. So, hi, Laura, and thank you so much for being there with us. And welcome to the Together Moving Forward podcast.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you so much. To start with, briefly, who's Laura? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, Laura's an evolution. I am a 68-year-old lesbian living in northern New York City. I have an absolutely spectacular spouse. Her name is MaryAnn. Both our pronouns are she and her. We've had the pleasure of getting married twice. Once about 28 years ago. And then again when it was legal. Like most people, I was groomed to be straight. And it took me a couple of decades to come into my own. I often say that I'm redoing my childhood.
Yeah, totally get it.
And it is so much better this time around.
Yeah. Okay. And can you tell us a little bit more about how was your childhood and how did it impact your life? The question.
Right. I had an unusual childhood. I was told how incredibly fortunate I was to have amazing experiences that very few children had. I parroted the stories that I was told and pretended or maybe even convinced myself that my childhood was good. It did enormous damage to me. I'm a little conflicted about how much to say because there are triggers, but I have so thoroughly reinvented myself that I'm probably going to hold it together. My parents decided to raise me as a friend, sort of a little adult. I traveled the world as a toddler. I had two adults that I thought of as my travel companions. And I had no inkling of what it was like to be an American, a kid. When I was 5, I was back in the US, and which was a strange place that I didn't really understand. And my parents had decided that calling them by their first names was maybe not the best thing to do. And they decreed that I would henceforth call them mommy and daddy, like, some little, I was horrified. Everything about my childhood from then on was avoiding reality. I was a misfit in school. Everything I said was wrong among my peers because I was told they were my peers, but I didn't have a clue about what American kids did. I didn't really know television. I didn't know what a superhero was or all these sugary breakfast cereals. I just was a total misfit. I kind of shut out anything that had anything to do with my birth family for the remaining years that I had physical contact with them. I have been, I'm going to say, blissfully estranged for decades. I remember the day that I was about early 30s, and I was telling someone I was repeating stories about my childhood that I had been told and expressing opinions that I thought I was supposed to have. And I'm painting this, what I thought like rosy picture. And she said, "I'm sorry, Laura, that really sounds traumatic." And I sobbed for the next few hours and realized that it was time to start over.
Mm-hmm.
And I did.
Which is really good.
I don't think I would be here today if I hadn't been able to do that.
Good. Would you like to change outfit?
Would I like to change outfits? I'm a retired professor of fashion design. Clothes are very important to me. I'm also a figure skater, and I make costumes. So, sure, I'll begin by simply taking off my jacket.
Okay, here's the story, everyone. Is that Laura was asking me which outfit she should be wearing for the interview when she's showing me off all these really beautiful outfits, and I just said, "Why don't you wear all of them? We'll just go and change and wear a new one."
which I love, because I dress for what I'm doing. Now, what I'm wearing at the moment.
Yeah, because it's not everybody that can see you. Like, we're on YouTube, they can see who you are.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to describe. I have just taken off my leather jacket, my black motorcycle jacket with a few pearls hanging from the epaulets. And I'm now wearing just a simple black t-shirt, but it is a trompe-l'oeil corset. One of the things I loved teaching before I retired was corset building. And I have quite a collection of corsets that I've loved to wear. They're kind of tight on me now.
It's fine. You're looking great.
But having shown this t-shirt, may I go get another one?
Of course.
I'll be right back.
There you go. Laura, is there a part in your life that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, but I'm wearing the wrong outfit.
Let's not change. No, I'm kidding.
I'm choosing to answer that question in a way that relates to the t-shirt I've just put on.
Which says
lesbian AF. I have a collection of in-your-face queer t-shirts, and I wear them for a number of reasons. Initially, it's because I used to be mistaken for straight, and that horrified me. So, just horrified me. So, I try to be taken for a dyke pretty much wherever I go. But over the last few years, I have discovered that if I wear a t-shirt like this on a trip to a museum or a shop or the zoo, young queer people come out of the crowd and run up to me and say, I love your t-shirt. I'm gay too. Can I hug you?
Wow.
And so I've realized that this is how I can present as a safe human for young people who desperately need to see me. This t-shirt in particular is effective because many in my generation don't know what it means. And of course, the kids do. And they're like, oh my God, I love your shirt. And life right now is getting increasingly difficult for queer people.
Mm-hmm.
I fear that the gains we made in my lifetime are being stripped back in warp speed.
Mm-hmm.
If I can have that great an impact on young people with a t-shirt, it just fills me with pride.
You know, this is so cool and so inspiring for me because I would need you to coach me because but now I understand even more, the impact it has. I'll just give you an example is we're walking and our son is always like, kiss your husband, and take your husband's hand. But I'm still, believe it or not, so I will be watching around. We both, me and my husband, will be looking around. We are scared of the violence. You never know. And for you to be with your t-shirt and the positive impact it has will help me to be more comfortable in public with being who I am.
I hope so. I would love to give you that gift.
Yeah, I think it's so important. And if it inspires other young kids from our community, well, even that helps me even more to do it, and to be exactly who we are, even in public. So thank you. That's really a really good advice that I will practice for sure. We should. Yeah, I'm gonna make t-shirts for all of us.
May I go change?
Oh yeah, you can, honey.
Be right back.
Oh, I remember that one. Yes, you're gonna have to describe it.
Actually, okay. So, for those of you who cannot see, I am in a crystal-studded rainbow corset with leather legs. This is a piece I designed. Took about 9 months to hand sew all the crystal. And sorry, Steph, this is not the one you remember. You probably remember a full body rainbow unitard.
That's when I actually saw you for the first time.
That garment is in the Gay Games archives.
Oh, wow.
This piece has had 3 different iterations for 3 different programs. This is a figure skating costume, although I have worn it without the pleather leggings on many in many a Pride March.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Thank you. And this I can still fit into because it stretches.
Well, you look great in it, so keep wearing it.
I always wanted to be a figure skater. Where that came from, I don't know, because I never did any sports. I didn't play outside. I don't know how to ride a bike or swim or catch a ball, but somehow I knew this was something I wanted, and I couldn't have. And in my 20s, I lamented about what might have been if I'd ever been able to take skating lessons. And when I was 30, and my life was so broken, I left my husband, bought a pair of figure skates, came out, and brought figure skating into the Gay Games.
Yeah.
I feel like it was the greatest accomplishment of my life. And it's work that I have continued to do for 3 decades.
Yeah. And like I said in the intro, this is where we met. And I will remember my whole life when I saw you the first time. You were wearing that outfit that you talked about earlier, and you had the biggest smile. And I looked at you on the ice and I thought, wow, she looks so happy and she is living the moment like so much. It was really inspiring to see you. And I thought, I have to meet this woman. Like, I have to go meet her and see who she is. And this is how we connected the first time. And I will remember that.
When you found me again,
yes,
after decades, it was like the coolest thing. I mean, so fabulous. My life, the decade before we first met, was hell, absolute hell, physically and mentally at the lowest point in my life. I started taking group class beginning figure skating lessons, and I actually met a gay friend. And turns out I was actually good at certain things on the ice. Taking skating lessons and having a gay friend just gave me the courage to come out, create a new Laura, a Laura who has been genuinely happy, loving her life for now more than half of it.
Wow.
Coming from that low point. I'm cold.
You can put your jacket on.
As she puts on her jacket.
Just putting back the leather jacket. It looks really good too with that. So, Laura, how do you stay hopeful and positive in these times of adversity?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. I need to. And I need to create my own happiness in my marriage, and present happiness to others as much as I can. I feel right now like the biggest responsibility is to be there for especially the trans community.
Yeah.
It is so scary. May I tell you what I did last night?
Of course. Yeah, go ahead.
I went to a ballet class. Most figure skaters have ballet experience. I really don't. But I went to a queer ballet class, a beginning ballet class.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
Well, imagine a ballet class where the dress code is not pink tights. We were mostly in black. We were in sweats. There was a lot of rainbow stripes. We began in a circle, introducing ourselves and stating our pronouns. A lot of the class was trans. Only about 3 or 4 of us used she, her. And not only we used very non-traditional music, we were the spectacularly queer human who led the class, talked a little bit about how they and the more advanced dancers in the class were coming out of their trauma of traditional ballet. And here was this space where a wide range of body types and ages, all kinds of genderqueer people were moving together and encouraged to make eye contact and reach out to each other. I'm hooked. I'm going back every week.
You know, I really would love to take a flight and go do that with you. I think this is what I love about you, is that you go and try new things, and you go and you're not scared of just trying anything, even if you've never done it. This is really so inspiring.
Okay. Thank you. I just realized that I forgot to put my glasses on, but that's okay. I am terrified of so many things. I know which kind of new experiences will be good for me, and I focus on those.
Okay.
I would not try something that involved like catching a ball or even like a wadded up Kleenex. Interestingly, MaryAnn is a jock. She grew up doing every kind of team sport with a ball. And even though she's older than I am, she found lesbians everywhere in her life because she went to gym class. I didn't meet any until I came out. My interests are much more aligned with my gay male friend. I love costumes and musical theater, giving dinner parties.
You go and try things that I would not have thought, even like going to a ballet class. I think this is so cool.
If there is a queer version of it, I am much more likely to want to try it.
And did you ever feel like you didn't fit in the like the lesbian world, or you were different, or
Yeah. I knew I was a lesbian at 13, but I didn't know how to be a lesbian. I was 13 the summer of the Stonewall riots,
wow.
living 42 miles away, reading about the riots in the Village Voice, feeling like there was a world out there that was, beyond intriguing, but completely out of reach to me. But that's when I started coming out to people. No one believed me. I had long hair and I made beautiful dresses. The boys were always interested in me. I made a huge mistake right then and there that set my life going the wrong direction. When boys asked me out, I said, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm a lesbian." And they were like, "Oh, do you want to meet my girlfriend?" My teenage and young adult dating life was kind of twisted. I dated couples.
Okay.
I didn't know where to find lesbians.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that I could be with a girl was to be with a guy too.
Wow, that is so interesting.
It's kind of not typical, although I do have friends even younger than me with similar stories.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually how I ended up marrying a man, because a lesbian who sleeps with couples actually needs birth control. And I had been trying to get my tubes tied for years. And when I was 24, I finally found a doctor who would do it with my husband's permission.
Wow.
So I got married I had a, very open marriage, and achieved two very urgent goals in one time. I got my tubes tied and I got rid of my birth last name. It is unusual for a lesbian to proudly use her ex-husband's name.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the name that I came out with. It is the name that I became a skater with. And it is a name that tells absolutely nothing about who I might have been in my life.
And how is your relationship with your ex today? If I may ask.
I have friendships with ex-girlfriends, non-existent.
Okay.
Basically, I have no relationships in my life from the first 30 years. And that is by choice. May I add to that?
Of course.
Divorcing one's birth family is frowned upon in society.
Mm-hmm.
We are warned that if we do something like that, will suffer mental and possibly physical tragedies. Sometimes it goes the other way.
Yeah.
Sometimes these people who say they love you don't let you be who you are and don't respect you for who you are. If right now I give permission to a couple of young people who never thought that they could survive severing toxic ties for whatever reason the ties are toxic, then I'm having a really good day.
Yeah. I'm happy you talk about this because it is such a topic that we grow up, being told it's your family. So you have to get along with and you have to stay with. But I seriously think that you need to respect yourself. And if you want to grow and be happy, there's choices that we have to make. And those choices are about who we are and where do we want to go and be. And the main thing is just to be happy, right?
I agree totally that being happy is critical. Making other people happy is as critical. But trying to make people happy when they don't respect you is playing into others' needs to control you.
Totally. And this is when you lose yourself.
Completely.
Thank you for talking about this, by the way. That is so perfect. I think it's time for you to change, is it?
Oh, okay. And this time I'm going to put my glasses back on because I can't see you too well. Be right back.
Okay. There you go. So you have to describe now what you're wearing.
Okay. There are two colors in my wardrobe, black and rainbow. What am I wearing? I am wearing a white tuxedo shirt that I rainbow ribboned around the collar stand. And over it, I am wearing a boiled wool tailored vest with a little bit of harness detail. My version of black tie usually involves black leather, long skirt, little rainbow something on top. And I am not a drag queen, so none of my shoes have heels. I will wear crystal studded Oxfords with an evening gown because I think a little bit of mixing up is fun.
That's fabulous. That's great. What message do you hope to share with our listeners today?
This is a very, very, very scary and trying time. I'm probably older than many of the listeners today. And I know that the pendulum swings. There are good times and there are bad times. And when the times are bad, please try and believe that there are good times ahead. I worry desperately about people who don't have hope. You can find it. You need to know where to look. This podcast is so important because it's focusing on what we need to do to join together in our beautiful, diverse, queer community to support each other and give each other hope and happiness. Please believe that this is possible.
Would you have like any suggestions that what we could do to make us feel better and help others? Like, would you have like real examples? What do you do, like yourself?
Being an example is actually relatively easy. It's super self-affirming and it makes you feel good. Finding the people who need to see the example is a little bit harder because they're sometimes hiding. And that goes back to my wearing in-your-face queer t-shirts in public, not just in safe spaces. Because my big fear is that there are people who don't know how to find safe spaces.
Yeah.
I was very late coming onto social media for a number of reasons. I understand now that there are people who would never have the opportunity to hear what I have to say unless I find them or they find me on social media. I hope all of you listening and or watching this podcast will follow organizations on social media that you feel are doing the right things. Those of us who have the privilege of any amount of financial security can support organizations that help queer and trans homeless youth.
Yeah.
There are queer community centers that need your support. There are funds that you can donate for gender affirming surgery in an age when this government funding is being taken away. You may need to do a little bit of research. Find the organizations that mean the most to you.
Yeah.
If you are someone who has received gender affirming care, you know how critically important this is. You may be afraid to be visible and be accused of being a groomer, which is nonsense. But you can help with financial donations, even if you need to do it anonymously.
For my last question, Laura, how would you describe love in your own words?
It is probably different for different people. Love, to me, requires first respecting your own identity, whatever it is, loving yourself for who you are. That is, of course, assuming that you strive to be the best you that you possibly can be. I am not advocating for the haters to love who they are. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't love them. I feel sorry for them. They must be quite unhappy.
Yeah.
If they want to make everybody else unhappy. Love is a giving and a sharing. It requires respect. In our wedding vows, MaryAnn and I promised never to change each other. We occasionally have to remind each other.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
I think it's important to recognize that love, real love, does not include any form of control or coercion. Just because someone says they love you doesn't mean they do. If a person is in an abusive relationship and keeps forgiving the abuser because the abuser espouses love, that's crap.
Do you think my way, if I can add, my way of loving to someone is to help them become the best that they can be in every way and just be there for them and to give that support to your partner, to your friends, to whoever is around you, I think is a big way and really nice way to show your love to someone.
Absolutely. I'm going to add a little caveat because there are people who think they are being supportive when they are being manipulative.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Learning how to recognize the difference between being supported and being manipulated is a challenge. And I think it's even a challenge for some of us to learn to recognize that our way of supporting someone might not be what they need. So you have to talk.
And listen. Listen, because sometimes it can only be to be there to listen, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Laura, you're with your last outfit before we say goodbye. So tell us what it is.
Simple black t-shirt. Sounds gay. I'm in.
Love it.
I might send you a t-shirt.
Oh, that would be cool. Well, no, I have a better idea. When are we going to see each other? So that was my last question.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure that
out. As soon as you told me about the podcast, I put on this shirt and said, yeah, I'll do it. It sounds gay. I'm in. I've spent the last 37 years immersing myself in gay culture. We have an amazing culture, and it exists throughout the world. I don't mean culture in the sense that you're American or of a certain religion. Queer culture is international. I have been with queer people on 4 different continents, and we bond immediately over our gayness. It's an amazing thing. And I just love my community.
There's going to be an episode coming soon about the gay games, where me and Laura met. And those were the best, amazing memories that I will have for the rest of my life. And I know we're going to see each other in Valencia in 2026. And I can't wait. But I hope we can see each other before that. And
if you come to New York, I will set up the queerest weekend.
Oh, I would love it. I would
Maybe
love it.
some theater.
Yes.
Some, maybe certainly some skating.
Yeah.
I would love to introduce you to some friends. I feel very fortunate to live in a city that has such a flourishing queer arts community. It's threatened, but we're going to prevail.
Yeah. And I love New York, been there many times, but it's been a long time now. But I need to, we'll make it a date. We'll talk again anyway. So we'll try to arrange something for sure.
I can't wait to see you, actually see you and hug you.
Yeah, me either. It's been too long. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for you being there today with us. I knew it was going to be amazing. Big kiss, and I can't wait to see you.
Thank you so much. It was my absolute honor and privilege to be here.
Thank you, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what an incredible conversation with Laura. Her story is a true statement to resilience, passion, and living authentically. I think we're going to have to ask her to come back to another episode. There's too much more we have to talk about. I hope you found as much inspiration in her journey as I did. Thank you, Laura, for sharing your wisdom and energy with us. My dear friends, it's already time to say au revoir for now. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of this journey. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. I'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of the Together Moving Forward podcast, bringing more inspiring stories, powerful insights, and a whole lot of positivity your way. Everybody, share this podcast and spread the good news. Remember, solidarity beats hate. The more we unite, the stronger we become. Because at the end of the day, we are all equally human and we all deserve the same rights. One last thing before I go. Put your hand on your heart, yes, and repeat after me. Let's all do it together. I am uniquely and wonderfully made. Yep, I am uniquely and wonderfully made. My dear friends, see you next week. Ciao.